are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Corte, and really excited for this conversation here. We're switching gears for this next conversation from policy to a mystery that's haunted the world for almost 30 years. My next guest spent approximately 25 years as a special agent with the U.S. Secret Service in supervisory roles in the New York Field Office, the Presidential Protective Division, Counter Assault Team, and Secret Service headquarters. In 2017, he was nominated by President Trump to be the first ever presidentially appointed Chief Information Officer for the Department of Homeland Security. Now he brings that investigative eye to television. He's one of 3 investigators featured in Fox News' special Celebrity Crime Scene Princess Diana, premiering this Thursday, April 20th at 8/7 Central on Fox and streaming the next day on Hulu. The special uses groundbreaking virtual recreation technology to revisit the 1997 crash that killed Princess Diana, examining the mysterious vehicles reported in the Paris tunnel, the decades of theories about powerful forces wanting her silenced, and claims that international arms dealers saw her as a threat. Viewers will reportedly experience the crash from angles never before possible, including, they say, what Diana herself may have seen as the car went into that fatal spiral. Please welcome former U.S. Secret Service Special Agent and DHS Chief Information Officer, Rich Staropoli. Welcome, Rich.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Doctor. I certainly appreciate that.
Well, thank you for being here. Rich, you spent decades protecting principals at the absolute highest levels of American government. Talk to us about what that background brings to investigating a death like Princess Diana almost 30 years later in Ocean Away.
Yeah, it is incredible that it was 30 years ago, right? A lot of the viewers that are going to be watching this probably weren't even born yet. So a lot of this information will be brand new, which is great from a viewer perspective. But having been a Secret Service agent for as long as I was, you learn to have an attention to detail and a level of granularity when it comes to securing events and sites for the President of the United States that's unmatched by anything else that can go on in the world. And I bring that level of attention and focus to reviewing all of this information and recreating the events exactly as they unfolded to the death of Princess Diana, 30 years ago. So all of that now comes to a head, and the viewers will see that tomorrow night.
Rich, walk us through what virtual recreation, what does it actually mean for this special, and how is it different from documentaries that we've already seen on the crash?
Yeah, so what makes this so different is that, in an ordinary crime scene recreation or a crime scene documentary, you'd get a couple of hosts sitting around, reviewing facts that they've taken from, a couple of police reports or witness statements, and then maybe there's some still photographs or some crude animation that runs behind them. What we've done now with this 21st century, cutting edge AI is we've got the ability to take thousands of pages of documents, hundreds of photographs to include closed circuit TV video, dump it all into one proverbial, container, if you will, and allow the AI technology to do its thing and recreate the events exactly as they unfolded according to all this information in incredible detail. So, for example, one of the things we do is the viewer will be dropped onto the roadway alongside my co-hosts and I, and we'll go for the ride that Princess Diana took, ultimately leading up to the car crash. And one of the things that's real important when you talk about car crashes and vehicle accidents are skid marks on the roadway. The viewer will be able to walk with me as I walk the length of those skid marks on the roadway and see not only what I'm seeing, but things as if they occurred, right then and there. You'll be able to see the tire tread marks that were left on the ground. And for an investigator, that speaks volumes about what happened here. So this isn't just supposition or some scripted narrative. As a matter of fact, the show is totally unscripted. It is very kinetic and dynamic conversation that starts with a thread of information, and then we build out using the AI tech to weave together a cohesive, competent, and relevant story. And that's what's unique about this.
I mean, wow, it's so amazing how much AI has it's changed the game. It's changed how we produce information, how we consume information, and how we construct or recreate, I should say, crime scenes. I've got to ask you, there's a lot of theories. There's a lot of theories that this special digs into. The mystery vehicles, the monarchy angle, the arms dealer claims. Is there one that your Secret Service instincts take more seriously than others?
Yeah, I think, look, the first thing that I had to deal with was the driver of this vehicle, right? You're talking about a car crash. You always have to focus on the driver. And for the last 30 years, it's always been taken as fact. And all the theories have always been under the assumption that Henri Paul, the director of security at the Ritz and the driver of the car, was drunk. But we're here to tell you, and the viewers are going to see, that simply was not the case. The evidence will show, and we'll bring it to light, that the blood alcohol content testing that was done, the carbon monoxide level testing that was done, simply was flawed. It wasn't the case. Had it gone down the way in which it was originally described, the driver of that car, Henri Paul, would never have been able to walk the halls of that hotel. And we've got closed circuit TV footage that you're going to see on the show. He would never have made it down the hallway, out of the hotel. They would have found him asleep on a couch somewhere, or quite frankly, dead. There's no way he would have been able to leave that hotel, get behind the wheel of that car, and drive that car, certainly at the speeds at which he was going. So that theory in itself is completely blown out of the water, and that's where the whole story starts. There's a little bit of everything in this story about Diana. It's amazing what we can put together in an hour.
I remember hearing a theory, and again, this is just a conspiracy theory, that Princess Diana might have been pregnant at the time. Did you find anything in your research to substantiate that?
Yep. So the rumor was 30 years ago that Princess Diana was two things. One, she was about to announce her marriage publicly to Dodi Al-Fayed. And then two, she was pregnant with Dodi Fayed's baby. The reason this was never talked about and dug into is because no one ever wanted to pursue this issue of racism within the royal family. But we do, right? We will pursue the angle that the royal family not only wasn't happy that she was about to marry Dodi Al-Fayed, but she was pregnant with his Muslim baby. Think about this for a minute. Prince Philip, who we know had racist tendencies and ideations, and he's made statements, for the last 50 years, certainly couldn't not have been happy that Princess Diana was pregnant with a Muslim baby. That would have meant that the half sibling to the next heir to the throne was going to be Muslim. There is no way that sits well with the monarchy and the British royal family, and we'll talk about all of that.
Ooh, you really getting into it.
We get into it. Keep in mind, Prince Philip, to give you an idea of where this guy's head's at and what he thinks of Princess Diana from the outset, he's the guy that allows Prince Charles to invite Camilla Parker Bowles to his own wedding. Prince Charles is having an affair with this woman, yet Prince Philip allows her invitation to come to the wedding, sits her prominently where the entire world sees her at the wedding. What a slap in the face from the outset to Princess Diana. And it just gets worse from there. And for whatever reason, no one ever wanted to dig into this, but you'll see it unfold during the course of the show.
Well, we're glad that you decided to dig into it, and you brought backup to help you investigate this. Look, Rich, You spent a career around protective intelligence. I've got to ask you, in your professional opinion, does the official investigation into Princess Diana's death, does it hold up? Or are there some real gaps?
No, there are some tremendous gaps, and I'm a little hesitant to even call it an investigation. This entire thing was whitewashed from start to finish, right? You think about this. Within an hour of Princess Diana being removed from that scene in the tunnel, the most famous woman in the world, a beloved icon, bigger than Elvis and more revered than the Pope, right? Some, Parisian sanitation worker rolls into the tunnel, hoses down the crime scene. The car is flatbedded out of there, and that's the end of the story. The French police reopen the road, and business goes on as usual. There is no way that some low-level city worker takes it upon himself to clean up that crime scene without top cover from the French government, as well as in concert with the British government. It simply doesn't make sense that it went down that way. So there's a lot of things that went on here, again, that we're going to bring to light exactly what I just said, that people are going to be left scratching their heads going, wow, they really did whitewash this thing and make this go away.
Rich, without giving too much away, and there's a lot to sift through. What's a detail or a perspective in this special that even people who think they know this story inside and out are going to be surprised by?
Well, I think the biggest thing you're going to be surprised about, one is what I've already said about Henri Paul not being drunk. But the other things that will come into play here is something simple like the vehicle. There's all sorts of skid marks on the walls of those tunnels. We're going to show you conclusively that those skid marks that for years have been attributed to that vehicle simply isn't the case. Those tire tread wear patterns just don't match. There's no way that that vehicle was bouncing around inside that tunnel like a pinball machine. It was a simple, clear-cut path. Due to high speed, the driver lost control, hit that column hard enough to send the engine block into the passenger compartment, and that's what led to all those deaths inside of that vehicle.
Mm, mm, mm. For our audience, Rich, a lot of folks who grew up on the conspiracy theories around this case, what do you want them to walk away from this special actually understanding?
Well, I think, look, sometimes you have to understand there are things that just happen during the routine course of the day. I mean, if I pick any major roadway in the United States, whether it's Route 80 or the Belt Parkway in New York City, where 1 million people who fly into JFK drive on that thing every day, there's accidents all the time. That doesn't necessarily mean they were all accidents that were put together by some unknown forces. Things just happen sometimes because of a set of circumstances. And in this particular case, I think, some of the viewers and the conspiracy theorists have to let go of these high level conspiracies because the evidence will take you there. Hey, this was an accident that occurred because of a series of events, not necessarily dictated by any intelligence services or outside forces. Sometimes things happen, but I'll leave that to the viewer to decide if they agree with me or not.
We knew her as the People's Princess, Princess Diana. To folks like, Prince William, Prince Harry, that's mom.
That's right.
To their little ones, that's the grandmother that they never had the opportunity to know. What do you hope her children get out of watching this documentary if they choose to watch it?
Well, it's interesting. Even as younger children, following the death of Princess Diana, both Harry and William did issue statements that said, "Hey, they don't buy into the official story about what happened here." And maybe somewhere down the road, maybe one of them or both of them happened to see this show and say, "You know what? Maybe we were more right than wrong in asking that somebody else take a look at this and see what actually happened to mom." Because you're right. Ultimately, the most famous woman in the world, this tremendous humanitarian. It comes down to, 2 kids, and that's their mom.
Rich Staropoli, this has been fascinating. I want to thank you for bringing that Secret Service eye to a mystery that the whole world has been trying to solve for almost 30 years. It feels like just yesterday in 1997. I think I was at home watching Hanging with Mr. Cooper when ABC News had a breaking news update that Princess Diana had been involved with a car crash. And I just remember, how everybody's sort of heart sunk. She was a tremendous force for good in the world. And I think a lot of people still have a lot of questions about what happened that night in Paris to the People's Princess. Y'all don't want to miss this one. It's Celebrity Crime Scene, Princess Diana. It premieres this Thursday, August 20th, 8 o'clock, 7 Central, right there on Fox, and it streams the next day on Hulu. You can also catch it on Fox One, Tubi, and on demand through most major providers. Rich, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. I certainly appreciate your time.
You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, and it's Thursday, which means it's Friday Eve. And just as I'm reflecting on the week, it dawned on me that I forgot to mention this event that I had an opportunity to attend just earlier this week on Monday. It was an event that was super special because we don't see Black men that are outside of fraternities and other sort of civic organizations. We don't see us getting together as often as we should, and just being in community with one another. And wasn't no fundraiser. It wasn't anything specific. No more than just getting together in community. I want to recognize Mark Wilson, who is the CEO of CRCD. Also, Dr. Kelvin Driscoll, the director of HOPIX, and also Dr. Ryan Smith, who's the president and CEO of St. Joseph Center, and Dr. D'Artagnan Scorza, who is with Supervisor Holly Mitchell's office, her chief of staff. I want to really recognize these gentlemen for bringing together this LA Black Male Leadership Network. There was a meetup and a happy hour that took place on Monday at Zinc in downtown LA. It was an opportunity for Black male leaders from across LA to come together for just an evening of networking and just meaningful conversation and community building. And it was really terrific. And I am proud to be a part of it, and proud to sort of keep this thing going. Keep this thing going because, everyone is looking for belonging. People are looking for a community. Folks are also looking to tap into the work that folks are doing, the work that they're doing in the name of making our communities better, making our communities more dynamic. And speaking of folks who are making our communities better and more dynamic, I also want to salute my friend and colleague. He's also with the county, Benny Williams. He is the founder of the LA Black Staffers Organization. I know they have a mixer that is coming up soon, but that's another example of someone who is leading and creating space for LA Black staffers to get together. There are lots of Democratic clubs and, more political organizations that exist. But one of the things that he felt was missing was space for LA's Black staffers to convene and get together. And so check them all out. Check them out, support them, support their work in some way, shape, or form. Because as I've said on this show, time and time again, that community, I believe, is that's the way we get to the other side of all the stuff that we are faced with, all the challenges that we are trying to overcome. I think we do it by locking arms. We do it by coming together in community. And so let's be sure to do that. Let's be sure to do that. And last but not least, for all the folks in Altadena, I want to remind you that there's an Eaton Fire Senior Summit that's happening tonight, Thursday, August 20th, at the Pasadena Hilton Hotel, located at 168 South Los Robles Avenue in Pasadena. If you missed out, I'm sure you can follow the Lady Builder, Erica Alexis. She's been a guest on this show, and she's doing a terrific work at thelady.builder for more information on how you can tap in if you missed that. But all examples of leaders on the front lines doing what good leaders do, bringing folks together. When we come forward in our next hour, we're going to be talking to another leader on the front lines. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk